Claudia.
Does she even know that?
Rosa, if you could stop sharing screen, there are a bunch of things that have to happen at the beginning of the meeting before we get to your item.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, looks like it's about 3:30. Are you there, Marie? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay, welcome to the development permit panel for Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. On the panel today are Claudia Jessen, Director from the City's Clerk's Office, and Marie Fenwick, Director, Arts, Culture, and Heritage. And I'm Milton Chan, Director of Engineering, and I'll be the chair today. We also have a number of staff. You can see them on the Zoom meeting. So Wayne Craig, Director of Development, along with other support staff. So the development permit panel deals with forming character, items such as parking, architecture, access, landscaping, and lighting. The panel does not deal with land use and density. Those were set by council during the rezoning. So on to the agenda. Could I get someone on the panel to move the minutes from the last meeting?
Move the minutes.
Seconded?
Second.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion or the minutes are carried. So on to item number 1, development permit 21-941827. Applicant is Vivid Green Architecture for 6740 and 6780 Francis Road. Do we have a presentation for this one?
Yes. Bressa is going to share because I'm remotely, but I will be able to speak on the project.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this development is on the arterial road zoning. This project has been going on for a while because we had a previous submission with 3 lots, one with the duplex, one with the 3 units, and another one with the duplex for a total of 7. That project went through all the steps and it got approved. But by the time that approval came, the client has done some investigation and they asked for variance on the lot width. Instead of 1035, the lot width came to 1005, and we end up with 4 equal lots that allow a duplex. So now we have 8 units. So this presentation refers to the 8 units project. And on this development, we are creating 4 lots a duplex per lot, but 2 of the lots will share driveway access. So we end up with 2 driveway access for 4 lots. The location is right by the corner of Gilbert and Francis, and it falls within the arterial road development. We also created other developments in the city of Richmond with this zone on Williams Road, and we are familiar with the requirements, but as always, we try to obtain as much as possible on square footage for the layout, but following all the requirements. Can you go to next slide? Yeah. So the existing development on the side of both properties, there is other duplex to, I believe it's to the east side, and there is a proposed already under permitting townhouse development to the left of this proposed duplex, and that development for the townhouse is taller buildings with 3-level townhouses, and our matches more to the right with the 2-level duplex, but the shape and the design of the townhouses is more on the low slope, kind of flat roof, more modern looking units. Across in front and on the other side, we have a single house and another townhouse development across the street. Can you go to next? Here is the site plan, and we have a dedication at the front, and that takes 2.1 meters for road dedication, and then we have a right-of-way of 1.5 meter. Right-of-way at the back as well. I believe there is some city services at the back, and then we provide all the required setbacks on each one of the lots with the shared driveway between each pair of duplexes. The width for the firefighter access is provided as per the guidelines, and the setbacks for each one of the lots are indicated on this plan. Each one of the units, the residential units, will have 2 parkings, and those parking have been located in between the units to create more separation between the residential units. These are carport parking, and this allows us to also have some bicycle storage in front of the cars and access to the garbage area and recycling. The front, they have a generous landscape area that David will be talking about, and we try to maintain as much of the existing mature trees at the back of the property, also providing 1 visitor parking for every 2 set of duplex in between the units. We have the
Unknown caller.
Sorry. Let me turn my phone off. On the front, we have the new sidewalk, and the new sidewalk is meandering back to connect to the existing sidewalk on both sides. But we believe in the future, these sidewalks may be on the same line once the road dedication is taken throughout in all the properties. For now, they go flat against the property in our lot, and then they angle to join the adjacent adjacent lot sidewalk. We have a day of collection, garbage and recycling area. The owners will bring their own garbage to that area on collection day, and then they return the garbage to the side of the carports where we have a specific area dedicated for this everyday garbage location. The proposed units, we emphasize on the accessibility or adaptability of the units, and we try to create access pathways from the sidewalk to the main entry. And in the back, you can see the entries are a little angle, and this is to respect the turning radius for the carports and the 3 points turning to get in and out. Still, we have enough space because the main entry doors swing in, and also these doors are visible from the street as required by the bylaw. We are able to see all of the unit main door entry from the street side. On the floor plans, we have the main area and one bedroom on the ground floor. On both of the units, they have a washroom. And so in all of these units, we think about perhaps people aging in place. They don't have to go up and down the stairs, or mom or relative that cannot go up and downstairs. They will have a bathroom and bedroom downstairs, plus the public area. And then they also have access to the carport. When the people are arriving, they can enter from the back door directly, so they don't have to go around the units. On the second floor, we have the rest of the bedrooms and bathroom, and they have a generous balcony in all of the sides, including in between the units. We have a space that separates the two units so that we don't have a continuous wall on the top. There is a split in between, and then we can have this area for one of the units to use as the outdoor space. And go to next, please. We have landscape. We let David talk about this. I just wanted to mention that there were many iterations of the look of the buildings, but there was a big push and desire from the client to go with neutral colors. We had originally proposed multiple different colored greens and blues and other colors, but the owner of the property was not convinced of using those colors to make them more durable and to stay with some more neutral tones. So, but we want to emphasize that we don't want the units to look exactly the same. So then we incorporated the wood tones, and we incorporated some stone elements. We incorporated some siding, and we have the doors different and the colors, so that the units, when we are looking out from the outside, they have a difference from each other, like you can see here. Some of them with the brown, some with the wood color, some are gray and white, and dark versus light colors. But the layout and the roofs are similar but mirrored, but we try with the colors of the siding and the materials used to create a differentiation between the units. I think we can let David go with the landscape now.
Thank you, Rosa. I'll just quickly run through the main points related to landscaping.
Sorry, could you just introduce yourself, please?
I'm David Rose of PD Group Landscape Architecture, and I was the landscape architect on the project.
Thank you.
I think the main point is to just emphasize that we have retained trees, both on-site trees and off-site trees. And I guess there's one existing street tree on Francis Road frontage, which we're protecting with the fencing as required by the municipality. There was no room to get another street tree on there because of the street light right in the center of the middle section of the boulevard there. And there's I think it's I can't remember exactly what that was, but there is something else in the one on the right hand side, the portion of boulevard there. And at the back we have we've got a remnant large cedar hedge, which is in quite good condition, so that's been protected. And right at the bottom right there, we have trees off-site that we're also protecting with the tree protection fence running across the back of the site. There's also underplanting proposed within the back portion inside the tree protection zone, and we're doing that just by planting small plants in there so that doesn't harm the existing trees at all. The rear yards, because of the finished floor elevations of the buildings at the back, there's going to be a bit of regrading to get down to the protection fence, but that's not it's not a dramatic grade change, and we've shown in section that can be done quite easily. The exterior open space, I think Rosa described that. It's each unit has a significant amount of outdoor open space, whether it's on grade, front and back, and the ones that are on the first floor level as well, the roof decks. We've added some coniferous trees at the back. It was very difficult to get them in on the street frontage, so they're in the backyards of the back units. Because of the more limited space on the street frontage, we've used extended tree trenches to accommodate the trees, and we've also used structural soil under paved areas to make sure that the trees have the required amount of soil. Unit entries, driveways, and the court where the carports are, that's all paved in permeable paving. And we varied the colour to distinguish between the driveways and the unit entries. The utility paths that are taking people from front to back with garbage removal, they're just in broom finished concrete. We have on the frontage we have a decorative railing and concrete pilaster arrangement across the property line, and the side yards have got 6-foot cedar fencing with horizontal boarding, and that also applies between the two lots as well. Sorry.
Nope. Are you still there, David? Mr. Clerk, is he still on the Zoom call?
Seems like he's frozen.
So Rosa, do you know if there's much else to add from the landscape side?
No, I just think that we are creating the spaces for each one of the units with this dividing fence so that they have their private area, their private outdoor space, as much as it is on the front and in the back. And the planting as listed on this table here is being considered some of the local species that are gonna thrive on the area, so that the landscape will remain on the site. And we are trying to make this space attractive and creating new options for people that want to have residence in Richmond. There is a lot of demand, and providing 2 units per these newly created lots, it gives some options to the people to obtain residence. And other things regarding landscape, I just wanted to say that most of the hedge is at the back. Is an existing one, and it provides privacy. But in the front, there are corridors and there is view that we are using to make sure that we follow SEPTED principles to have eyes on the street and to see who comes in and who goes out and into this parking area, as well as by the sidewalk, so that there is some surveillance or monitoring within the neighbors. We are also looking into having the proper building envelope to be energy efficient, and also look into the mechanical systems that are going to take into account the requirements for the newly energy step code and high efficiency appliances, boilers, and have control over bathroom fans and plumbing fixtures that are gonna have water efficiency, reduce water use. So we want to make this development, even though it's a small, only 8 units and 2 units per lot, that is gonna follow the design that is gonna be efficient, that is gonna provide residential options for new residents in Richmond, and also to keep in mind there is a entire team of consultants behind it, to as much as the landscape and the selection of the equipments for heating and plumbing fixtures and all lighting that is going to go on the development.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's wrap up the presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Staff comments. Mr. Craig, anything staff want to add on this one?
Couple comments through the chair. As indicated by the applicant, and if you could please stop sharing screen, there is a servicing agreement associated with this project for frontage works and site services. We do appreciate the applicant's efforts to retain the mature hedgerow in the rear property. And through the rezoning, there was also a contribution secured for the upgrading of the existing crosswalk at Mindler Road and Francis Road. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Panel, do you have any questions for the proponents or staff?
Milton, I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Claudia.
Thank you. It's just in regards to the shared driveway on the two lots, if the applicant can just maybe review just that space. From the renderings, it looks quite tight, and just the maneuverability of the vehicles accessing in and out the shared driveway.
Yeah, the shared driveway is established through an easement and is following the guidelines for duplex. We do have a reduced right where the front units are, but it is as within the required with Reza, do you have the dimension? I think it's 4.5, right, at the reduction?
We have,
But that includes a strip of landscape right against the units, and then it widens again to the 6 meters for the firefighter. But the 4.5 is allowed within the arterial road zoning.
Mr. Craig, can you just comment? It's been reviewed by transportation?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this application has been reviewed and considered acceptable by the city's transportation department. All on-site maneuvering has been reviewed as part of that, and the application does comply with our expectations and requirements.
Thank you.
Ms. Fenwick, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. You were speaking a little bit to some of the sustainability features of the building, and I'm just wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the heat pumps and where they're located, and if there's issues with noise, considering how compact this development is.
Yeah, we have located them in a closet, I believe, above the garbage area. So they are screened. We are providing insulation on the wall, and hopefully believe that this acoustic consideration is dampening the sound for the neighbors. The two at the very edge that are gonna share with neighbors, one is with the townhouse development. That is a 3-level townhouse, so we think that that will have less problem, perhaps just the one to the right where you have another similar duplex, but they also have consideration for these units on the side of the property, so they are going to be facing each other. Now, we did consider this to be enclosed within the envelope of the building so that they are above the garbage space.
Okay. Any other questions from the panel? Okay, I've just got one quick question about the second floor balconies. You spoke a little bit about it trying to preserve the corridors. So could you just confirm that you've taken a look to see that you're not going to have any privacy issues with overlook onto adjacent properties?
Yes, we are proposing landscape. There is both sides of those intermediate balconies. We have landscape on the edge. We were considering landscaping planters, because we didn't want to bring too much weight to the balcony portion, but we do have some separation for the neighbors, and this space is used only for one of the units. The other unit has the space at the back. It's just because the units at the front, they don't have too much backyard. They only have the front yard.
Okay. And then just one additional question about the bike storage. On the rendering, it looked like that was open. It wasn't enclosed. So can you just comment on how those bikes would be secured?
Yeah. We just have in front of the car. So the car will be in front of the bicycle space. And I understand that we were using some kind of screening for the glare of the car, so they are not going to be fully open to the corridor on the side. There is a a fence, then the bicycle, then the car. So it's not fully open, right? This little screen fence was so that the glare of the car is not directly onto the neighbors.
Okay. Just a comment to take into consideration.
Yeah, and
I know some
probably
people
they
would be
have to
concerned about
have
it.
proper locks and
Mhm. Okay.
monitoring, because the all of the parkings are only carport. So if somebody gets in, they can get to the cars or to the bicycle, but of course not fully open on one side. Is just more towards the center of the development or the four duplex, which hopefully is monitored by the own residents that have viewing onto this central area.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, are there any public comments or questions?
We don't have, we have no correspondence for this item, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And is there anybody wanting to delegate on this item?
There's no one in chambers to delegate on this item as well.
Okay. Okay. So we move on to panel deliberation. Any comments from the panel on this beyond the questions that we've already asked?
No additional comments.
Okay, no, I would just echo Mr. Craig's comments. Seems to be a well thought out development. It definitely helps to address the housing issues that we have right now. So would someone like to move the staff recommendation?
Move the recommendation.
Of a seconder?
Second?
Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? That is carried. So thank you very much. And this item will go to council at a future date. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll move on to the next item.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to Cynthia, and thank you to the entire panel. We appreciate your help.
Thank you. Let me get back to my minutes here, or agenda, I should say. So item number 2, development variance permit 22-011004. Applicant Danny Wong for 8451 Number 5 Road. Do we have a presentation for this item?
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah, could you just introduce yourself and go ahead with the presentation?
This is Judy Chu. I'm project manager of the A441 Dodger Argot, Number 5 Road, Dodger Argot. I thought City gonna share the slide. Are we gonna do it ourselves?
Mr. Clerk, are we sharing it, or are we having the applicant share their screen? Oh, here we go.
I do it. Like,
We can share the screen. Oh, okay.
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 So this is Judy Chu. I'm project manager of Dodger Art Garden on A451 Number 5 Road. We're apply for the DVP for the farm operation lot. And just a quick background of our the garden. So the current owner took over the Wong's Garden Center in 2021, and the roadside stand has been there for like over 50 years, but I was told maybe 75 years now at the same location. As you can see, the picture showing the old building. So it's outside, the exterior area under cover. And next, it is some interior picture and some ceiling picture. You can see it's pretty run down. So back in 2021, we demolished the old road stand. So the picture showing is the side condition facing west. Facing east, there are greenhouses, and their picture showing facing south and facing north. So facing north is facing Number 5 Road. So you can see there is an outdoor cutting area. So the current owner has done a lot of job on the on the land improvement, such as that we demolish the old buildings, old retail store, and we construct the farm access road around the property, like go to the north, to the west, and to the south. And we also install the drainage system around the property as well. We also design the greenhouse and the storage for the future. We had to design everything ready. Also with the rainwater collection system that can be incorporated into the construction later. So our goal is to rebuild a new retail roadside stand. So we're seeking to reduce the minimum farm operation size from 8 hectares to 1.77 to allow a roadside stand. So next, I'll hand it over to our architect, Danny.
So the building will be a metal clad building with metal roof, and this is the east side facing the number 5 road. We intend to have metal roofing as shown on the right, and also with dark bronze color, and on the east side, generally everything will be glazed on the street front facing number 5 road. To the next. And this is the back side of the building. So it basically is an opaque building other than the glazing at the doors and on the number 5 road. And that's the other elevations. So it's a pretty straightforward gabled roof farm building with metal siding, metal roof, and situated on a minimum setback on the site. This is the floor plan of the building. That's on the right hand side. That's facing number 5 road. Basically, the building is situated in very close to the grade facing number 5 road. At the back there is sunken down a little bit. That's existing, where the existing storage building is at its current grade is quite a few steps down. And we plan to situate the building close to number 5 road's current grade. This is the side facing number 5 road. So we're providing minimum parking. We have 13 regular parking, 2 accessible stalls, and a medium-sized loading area in the front. So, and then on the right, that's where our garbage storage area will be. And then the entry is where in the middle of the parking lot. For the landscaping, we are proposing to have 5 trees at the street front, and then behind it will be a new gate that will be facing number 5 road. And then the rest will be low-lying shrubs and perennials that is local to the city of Richmond.
Thank you, Danny.
Hello, my name is Elena. I'm the farm and store operating manager. So on this slide, you can see what our greenhouses grow mostly. So the main part of our production in 2023 were roses, trees and shrubs, annual plants. Also 11% of hanging baskets, like perennial plants, succulents, tropical plants, vegetables, fruit trees. This is how it looks on the site. Yes, so these are roses in pots. These are outdoor plants that we grow in containers. This is our nurseries growing annual plants, and these are our hanging baskets. This is perennial plants. And these are succulents, and these are tropical plants. How the production looks. These are vegetables and herbs production, and those are fruit trees and shrubs that we present on the pallets. So our planned operations for future are like, if you see, I have made a plan for the nearest 5 years. We are planning to slightly grow each year the production of each of the segments. Mostly, we plan increase of growing in perennials, like perennial trees and shrubs, and also annual trees and shrubs. So for the building that we apply, this is a plan how we are going to locate all our production plants inside of that building. You can see like most of them will be located on some shelvings. So on these slides, you can see how it will be looking inside of the building. So there are some wooden and metallic shelves. This is our presentation and merchandising slides. This is how vegetables will look like, herbs, annual plants, annual arrangements like tropical plants and succulents. Also, we will place there like some supplies like pots and soils and hanging baskets and perennial plants, roses, fruit trees and shrubs. So thank you for attention.
And this is the end of our presentation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Craig, any staff comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of comments. This project was reviewed and endorsed by the city's Food Security and Agricultural Advisory Committee. And the proposed roadside stand has been located to minimize impact on the overall farm operation and preserve as much agricultural land for agricultural production. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the panel?
I have a question. Is everything you sell on the farm side in the stand, will it be grown on site, or is some of it brought in from off site?
At least 50% of the production will be grown on site.
Okay.
Well, currently it's 70 even. Yeah, currently it's even 70.
70% from the farm. It's in the future we'll have more space and we will import more some from outside.
And everything with the building and the parking is within current ALC regulations, or is there an ALC application that's required as part of this project as well?
It's a CR zoning, so we don't need ALC application to build.
Mr. Craig?
Yes, through the chair, there is no associated land commission application required.
Thank you.
I have one quick question. You've got the indoor and outdoor retail area. Is the outdoor area is fully accessible? Just because it looks like there's just stairs into the indoor area, and I'm not sure if that grade separation is across the whole frontage or if it's just at that one area there.
The building is situated on the same grade or similar grade as number 5 road. The site is a bit sunken throughout and at the back. We will be raising the grade of the retail. There's a ramp that ramps down to the farming operation, but the entirety of the retail, except the back, is accessible and wheelchair accessible as well from the front.
Okay. Any other questions from the panel? No.
I just had one quick question, Mr. Chair. For the proposed parking service, the report indicates that it's asphalt, so I'm assuming that that's an approved surface for agriculturally zoned land for this use?
Mr. Craig, can you handle that one?
Through the chair, yes, that is consistent with zoning, and it is a pre-existing condition. That is already a paved area.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, is there any members of the public to talk on this one?
We have there's no one in chambers to delegate on this item, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any correspondence?
None, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. On to panel deliberation. Any final comments from the panel? Okay. No, this looks like it'll be a good continuation of farm service that was here in the past. And from my understanding, it's just a change in the regulation that requires this result or this variance. So I'm happy to support it. Someone move the recommendation?
Move the recommendation.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? It's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Then let me reset my agenda again. Here. Okay, on to item number 3, development permit 23-014121. Applicant is 1166225 BC Limited. Location 8880 Cook Road and 8751 Citation Drive. Is the proponent here to present on this project?
Hi, this is Alejandro Martinez, and I'm representing GPL Architects.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Hi, and through the chair and to everyone from the panel, I'm going to share here my screen, and let me know if you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Alejandro, and I represent GBL Architects, and I'm here to present a project in 8080 Cook Road and 8751 Citation Drive. Today, we're presenting a beautiful and modern 100% purpose-built rental project. It's located in the Brick House Village sub-area of the city of Richmond. In a lot of 2.8 acres, the city currently hosts 2 3-story building structures with parquet on grade. This site is located within walking distance to schools, transportation, recreation, and shopping. The building provides 339 total units, of which 301 are single-level unit suites and 38 are 2-level townhomes. All BOH requirements have been provided to all single-level units and supporting aging in place. The building has a mix of market and below-market rental with equal access to all amenities and common spaces. The building's main attractive was the retention of the trees. Existing trees was a priority from City Council and staff. The preservation of the trees is what shaped the building footprint. The road dedication set the building back from the building sidewalks and reduced the side area on all 4 streets. This also shaped the setbacks and footprint of the building. The tree retention in the northeast and southwest corners created public pocket parks for community integration and neighborhood residents to use. The project provides a 2-level parquet structure completely enclosed from the street view. The parquet design is the result of protecting the central courtyard trees and the perimeter trees. The central courtyard is used for parquet ventilation and natural light penetration, and a use of a trellis system is used to screen each area from the other. 2 levels of parquet accommodate visitors and residential styles, and bike parking on both north and south buildings. 100% EV charging will be provided for all residents. The setbacks of the building with a 4-story wood frame building are positioned above the parquet podium and set back to maximize the inner courtyard space and daylight exposure. Grade-oriented townhomes units provide screening from the street to the parquet. The bottom 2 levels of the buildings in red are pushed in, and the top levels of the buildings in blue are pulled out to enhance the facade articulation. The building is connected on the 2nd level. Level 2, 3, and 4 contain indoor amenity spaces. Level 1, 2, and 3 contain outdoor amenity spaces. Level 3 outdoor amenity space is where the 2 buildings meet. The outdoor amenity is in direct connection with the L2 podium and further connected with the L1 courtyard. The building has a simple contemporary form and easy to read expression, contributing to the energy performance of the building. The building stepping creates visual distinction and a balanced proportion. The change in building height softens the Garden City facade expression, and the balconies, both inset and suspended, create a very dynamic building form. The building setback enhances the street expression, and the broken up mass gives it a contemporary appearance. Hard corner expressions in the north and south building create unique architectural elements and help emphasize the corner parks. TDM measures have been applied to the project. There are 231 car stalls and 667 bike stalls. A micromobility station is provided to promote less car usage on the Pimlico Way Pocket Park. The bus stop is located on front of Cook Road frontage for easy transportation. Entry to the north building is close to the northeast corner of Cook Road, and the entry to the south building is close to the southwest corner of the site. The vehicle entry to the parkade is halfway down the block of Pimlico Way. The parkade access and the service access is generated for multifunctional use, such as drop-off, building services, loading, Amazon deliveries, Uber Eats, and so forth. A new bike lane has been added to the Garden City Road. There are two entry points for the north and south portion of the parkade. There's a balanced distribution of visitors and resident car stalls and bike lockers between the north and south building for user convenience. The parkade provides a loading stall, 2 car shared parking spots, van and standard-sized accessible stalls, 2 bike repair rooms, secure bike storage for visitors, and 2 dog wash stations conveniently located on each side of the parkade. The main entry to the north building is on Cook Road. The main entry to the south building is on Citation Drive. Both entries are emphasized with the use of distinctive materials, a weather canopy, and an entry gateway portal, and are easily visible from the streets. The Cook Road entry is more pronounced as its main artery. The Citation Drive entry is simpler due to the quiet surrounding streets and the neighborhood context. The ground level has a mix of dedicated paths and ramps for accessibility and easy circulation around the project. Pocket parks in all corners promote engagement for the community. The planters and raised patios help to differentiate public from private space and provide hierarchy between spaces. The bump outs highlight the townhome entry and distinguish the accesses from the building above. The bottom 2 levels of the building are pushed in, and the top levels of the buildings are pulled out to enhance the townhome architectural expression. There are accessible units located in level 2, close to the elevators and with direct access to the private patios and the podium outdoor space. The gym amenity is located where the 2 buildings meet. This way, everyone can access it. The podium outdoor space includes a children's play area, an outdoor turf for different activities, urban agriculture, and planters for privacy. Landscape will elaborate on this shortly. The indoor and outdoor amenities are located on level 3 at the end corners of the north and south buildings to take advantage of the views to the park and to receive natural daylight throughout the morning and afternoon. The outdoor amenity emphasizes the break of the buildings, mass, and creates clear distinction between the 2 buildings. The outdoor amenities are directly connected to the podium level and outdoor space. From level 4 to 6, another indoor amenity space is located on level 4 for work and music activities. These levels show clearly how the building mass and footprint breaks apart. These floor plans show also how we have distributed the below market rental units across and throughout the floor plate. The below market rental units are the ones in orange. All floor levels and indoor amenities of the building are fully accessible. The buildings provide 6 fully equipped accessible units at level 2. All single level units comply to BUH requirements. There are a wide variety of indoor amenities. For example, a co-working space and private meeting rooms, a communal kitchen, an in-house fitness facility, music rooms, and entertainment and lounge areas. Extrusions in the mass provide sunlight entry and accentuate the main features of the parkade entry and amenity space. The townhomes below have a darker masonry to create a unique character and looking at the southeast corner. The U-shaped balcony designs provide a unique look and expression for the southwest facade. In this view, we can appreciate the cubic form of the architecture and the stepping in building height. The metal slats emphasize the amenity space and create an attractive expression from the street view. The aluminum slats help to shield from the street and airplane noise and protect from solar exposure in the summer. The slats are unique features and help identify the amenity space. All outdoor amenities of the building are fully accessible. There are different areas and seating arrangements for new families and residents. Landscape will elaborate further on these spaces. The central courtyard is the main feature of the project. The entire design revolves around the trees. The podium steps down to reduce the height in the courtyard. The courtyard design inspired the idea that all users could directly access to it. We introduced vertical trellises so the vines planted create vertical gardens and help to screen the parkade. We used a neutral color palette. The building base uses heavy masonry materials, and the upper portions use cementitious panels in lighter colors. Wood and copper tones are used in the entryways to clearly identify the street. Townhome access has a variation of spandrel colors to highlight the entry expressions. The balconies help to create individual expression and distinction between each building block. Different tones of brick are used to create uniqueness for each building facade. An open surface area emphasizes the entry to the site and parkade. Some of the unique architectural features are the aluminum slats. The white frames are used to create depth in the color and materials, and we use simple square forms that are easy to read and inspire modern design. The entry to the north building is defined by a gateway, making it easy to find from the street. There's a clear distinction between private and public areas. Townhome entry is distinct and easy to locate from the street. Exterior private patios are above grade. For the facade, we use a softer and more subtle design in response to the quieter streets and context. The U-shaped balconies create a robust structure for their building expression in the corner of Cook Road and Garden City. The U-shaped form also allows the balconies to be functional with furniture and create more privacy for the residents. Different styles of balconies help to distinguish each street expression and facade. Also, the use of color in the spandrel and the balcony material accentuate the facades and provide more character to each building. The white frames help identify different parts of the building and help identify overall composition of the top building structure. Entry to the building on ground floor has a warm wood and copper tones to create a welcoming atmosphere and a clear distinction from the street. Inverted shapes of the balconies are also shown in the entries to the main building. The balance in the facades are designed to be more transparent than the rest of the building. The use of dark tones over the lighter cementitious panel create depth and contrast, and the wood tones in the soffit create a more organic sensation for the residents and from the street view. A mix of inset balconies and suspended balconies express a more minimal design and more spatial separation between the users. It also reduces the bulk of the building by minimizing the extent of the projected balconies and create variety in the design. The pronounced corner is a response to the building setting back from the tree protection root zone. Every breakup in the mass into two building cubes, the frame articulates the different building facades and expression maintain the same language from the building on Cook Road. The design provides a soft stepping using stairs, ramps, and vegetation to relieve the parkade wall height from the courtyard and connect to all outdoor spaces for residents to use. The building setback from the courtyard also allows more daylight for the vegetation and users. We wanted to make sure that the courtyard is desired and used by the residents. The materials and color selection reflect the relationship with nature and outdoor. Concrete, wood, vegetation, rocks, and pavers all contribute to a more organic and natural environment. All outdoor spaces available to residents are interconnected through ramps, stairs, and elevators, and different levels, so there is always a visual and physical connection. That's it for architecture, and then I'm going to pass to Alexa for landscape.
Thanks, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Sarah. Alejandro's done a really succinct job of covering a lot of the key elements about the project in relation to site planning and to the landscape architecture side of it. So mostly I'll be here to address questions from the panel as they come up, but I would like to draw some attention to some of the key elements on the site that we've been working with the architectural team and working with some previous comments from the advisory design panel to address some of the design elements. As he noted, our key design features is the tree retentions in the central courtyard and the two pocket corner parks. We've done some minor adjustments to these designs since the advisory design panel that we had previously this year to open up the courtyard space and make it a little bit more friendly for kids' play area, consolidating some of the amenity uses. We've also worked on the ground level plazas to open them up to the public realm to address the advisory design panel comments, making them a bit more interesting, including some new site furnishings, as well as some lighting packaging to really emphasize those spaces and create key elements that are open to the public realm. The amenity spaces revolve around, again, the central courtyard, which has our seating zones, our trellis screenings, as well as pedestrian circulation and the key element, kids' play space that's nestled within the respective retained trees. And then up on level 2, we have a large expansive turf space for a more contemplative zone that opens up to the interior amenity room, as Alejandro pointed out. And then up above, that comes off of our main amenity rooms on level 5, we do have an outdoor dining and seating area that addresses, the street frontage and tries to use as much of natural sunlight as possible. This image here is a great spot of just the central courtyard, showing how we've been working with the architectural team to really enforce the use of ramping and stairs to promote pedestrian circulation and connectivity throughout the space while isolating and creating amenity zones and features, all focused around the retention of the trees here. It might be worth looking at some of the corner pockets. Alejandro, if we can walk through. This plan is fine here. So as you can see in the southwest corner, we have a cluster of trees that are going to be retained. We've simplified this design to work with the grading around the existing tree roots to ensure their longevity and to make sure that they will survive the construction process. And then on the northeast side of the site, which is the top left corner for those on the screen, we are going to be incorporating some new feature bench seatings to really make the space a little bit more friendly, and it ties it into the main entry off of Cook Road. The other plaza that you will see that's been slightly adjusted is off Pimlico at our central entryway for the parkades and pedestrian access to the courtyard. Based on the advisory design panel comments, we've opened the space up to be more forward-facing to the street frontage. We've got some interesting seating that's going to be addressed, and we're adding in some larger specimen quality trees that will reinforce the maturity of the project and tie itself into a lot of the existing tree features. It's worth noting that we have all new infrastructure on the street frontages for the sidewalk engineering and street road frontages. I know that was touched on previously, but it will be all new street trees provided in those locations, new sidewalks, and new site servicing. So with that, we were limited on how many of the existing trees in the public realm that we were able to retain compared to the private realm, which we have strived to really push for. Happy to answer any other landscape questions that might come up.
Okay, great. Thank you. Quite a comprehensive presentation. Mr. Craig, any staff comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A few comments, if I may. There is an extensive servicing agreement associated with this project, as there are frontage works along all 4 sides of the property, as well as the development of the 2 or the pocket parks as referenced in the presentation. There is an extensive transportation demand management strategy associated with this project to promote alternative modes of travel. That TDM package includes the likes of car share vehicles, transit passes for all residents or for all units, and the communal modal mobility hub as referenced in the presentation. The project will also be providing an on-site district energy utility plant, with the ownership of that energy plant being transferred to the Lulu Island Energy Company for integration in the city's overall district energy utility. And I would just like to take the opportunity to commend the design team on their efforts to retain the trees within the center of the site and in the strategic locations on the edges. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Does the panel have questions on this one? Ms. Fenwick?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is, could you tell me a little bit more about the music rooms? Are those soundproof rooms for music practice, for individuals, for groups? What do those look like?
Correct. They will be acoustically treated, and this is for any kids that have after school practices. Some of them can have groups up to 3-4 people inside for anyone that wants to create a band. And we have enough for also have individual rooms for the silent practices, anyone that wants to choose have their own private space, all with windows facing the exterior, either the courtyard or the park on the other side of Cook Road.
Thank you. And I'm also just curious about it. It looks like there's play areas on both levels, like the mezzanine patio and the ground floor. And just curious what kind of play equipment you put in those spaces.
Yeah, so after ADP panel, we received some really great comments, and we've done a few adjustments. So maybe Alexa, can you elaborate on the equipment for children?
Yeah. So the ADP comments were the discussion of amalgamating some of the play spaces. We previously had a small tot-let up in the second level. So in a desire to address those comments, we've consolidated the play space to the central courtyard, featuring naturalized play equipment like the wood seesaws, the tot-lot slide positioning. We've got some jumping docks. We've got some balance beams and logs. We have a wooden net climber. So all of them are really lending to the idea of being integrated in with nature. So that was the big play that we're trying to aim for, is really addressing the fact that we're within those trees. Let's try and keep it nature inspired in following that theme.
Okay, thank you. And then could you also tell me a little bit more about the pocket parks?
Yes.
You mentioned there's some publicly accessible green space.
Correct. So we've carefully thought of each corner, and they all have different types of equipments. Some of them, like the northwest corner, has a dog water fountain, just public water fountains as well for the neighborhood community, different benches. We got on really modern benches that have like irrational forms and colors to accent in every pocket park, so people can get a better sense of orientation, where the red seating is, the yellow seating is, some blue seating, and all this by giving enough space for people to move around and get a sense that it's public use, and as well having some bike racks easily accessible for anyone that just drove their bike and wants to visit anyone in the townhome, or if they just want to sit and mingle with anyone from the neighborhood, they're open and invited to use.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Justin, do you have any questions?
Just a quick question with regards to the central courtyard. I understand that's a private courtyard, so it can only be accessed by the residents, or can be accessed from the street level?
You're correct. At the moment, it's considered as a private use for the resident and the project only.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, do we have members from the public that wish to speak on this one?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have 2 members of the public. Actually, they're already in Zoom meeting. Okay. And they're gonna speak on this item remotely. So we have Mr. Rollin Chan and Mr. Edmund Gwyn.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rolling. Actually, after listening to your project, my concern, I don't have much concern about the safety reason right now because I don't live in.
Sorry to interrupt. Would you be able to turn on your video?
Okay, yeah. Just give me one second. I didn't. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, because I don't live in BC right now, but I'm thinking to move back. I'm in Montreal, so I don't know much about the lower market rentals that stuff. So forgive me, like if I ask some stupid question. It's just that area I've been living there more than like 10 years before, so I'm more concerned about the safety things. So the low rental, like it's about 288 units. They're all lower rental market. Like, is that a little bit concerned about it? Would you explain more about it?
Mr. Craig, could you explain that one?
Yes, through the chair, there are just over 300 units in the entire project. 271 of the units are market rental units. There are 68 units which are slightly below market. The below market provisions are in keeping with the BC housing income limits. So they're slightly below market. We're not significantly below market. In terms of the provision of rental, that is something that was determined through the rezoning process.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next delegation? Would that be Ed?
I assume Lynn is done then.
Yep.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
Sure. So my name is Edmund Gwynn. I'm here to represent the townhouse strata located at 8771 Cook Road, which is right across the street from this development. Firstly, I just want to thank the panel for their dedication to the work in making the city of Richmond such a wonderful place to live. Maybe I would guess that your efforts perhaps don't receive a lot of accolades or appreciations. So I just want to say that we do very much appreciate what you do, and your work is integral to keeping a growing city vibrant and beautiful and inviting. So thank you very much. I also want to mention that that we believe that the architect and the developer has done a wonderful job here. We're really impressed with the building design. We believe it's going to serve as a shining example of what cities can do to provide affordable housing options in our current cost of living crisis. So cheers to you guys. I do have 3 issues to raise, so I'll just dive right in. Firstly, I wanted to bring up the availability of development application materials. So your presentation here was quite comprehensive, as the chair mentioned, very impressive. Documentation, however, regarding development in the city of Richmond is available only by visiting City Hall and reviewing paper copies on site. So the clerks there are very helpful, and they'll provide copies of any documents requested. Unfortunately, some of the pages of the applications, specifically for this one, those that show detailed data and the development's adherence to codes and bylaws, are illegible. They're essentially large Excel sheets that have been shrunk down and printed on paper. And I was informed by Mr. Edwin Lee that city officials are barred from releasing electronic copies of any development application documents to the public. We would like to note that other nearby municipalities, such as Vancouver, provide electronic copies of all new development applications to the public upon registering and confirming one's local residency. So we struggle to understand the justification for refusing to share this public information in a useful form, as the current system is somewhat outdated and does not really allow the public the opportunity to comprehensively assess a development application. So we would like to know when the city of Richmond or this particular developer intends to make available electronic copies of the development application in question, or at least provide documentation to the public that is legible.
Okay,
do you want to discuss that one, or should I finish?
Might as well go through all 3 of them, and then we'll tackle them all at once.
Sure, great.
So yeah, so go through all, like just list all of your questions, and then we'll get them out.
Sure. Okay. Secondly is regarding shadow studies for zoning applications that include increased building density or height specifically. Our strata building, as I mentioned, is directly across the street from this new development on the north side. So we will therefore suffer the brunt of shading from this new building, intended to be more than double the height of the existing building. We are in favor of increasing density in the city core, and we're also in support of additional rental housing in Richmond. We do not, however, appreciate the developer's response to our request for a more comprehensive shadow study for the new development. So if you'd allow me to read the developer's response to our request for a shadow study that covers the whole year rather than only half of the year as was provided. It's quick, so I'll just suffer with me here. Quote, we have included an updated shadow study where we have stretched the viewport to show shadow impacts on the property located at 8771 Cook Road. Please refer to GBL drawing sheet A0.08. It is important to note that during winter, there are hardly any shadows due to sunlight severely obscured by thick clouds that are common in the BC's Pacific Northwest for 7 months of the year. Our region experiences significant shadowing due to the sun's location low on the horizon between 9 to 10 a.m. at sunrise. The proposed building is also sited to comply with setbacks from the city's road dedication requirements and outside the protected tree root zones area of the courtyard. Therefore, the proposed building location and 6-story height that received third readings is a result of the city's regulatory requirements, council receptivity to deliver more affordable housing units in the developer's requirement to achieve the necessary density to have a viable project. These constraints and realities left no other options on any part of the site for building placement to avoid shadowing of neighboring buildings. So in our opinion, this reply from the developer is somewhat dismissive and not useful. The developer is not a recognized expert in meteorology or local weather patterns, and we struggle to understand how this sort of official response from a developer could be accepted by the city. What we're asking for is not a difficult task. As a professional engineer myself, licensed in British Columbia, I would be capable of easily performing this task if given access to the design drawings of the new building. It should also be noted that other municipalities, such as Vancouver again, provide shadow studies that cover the whole year. And as you probably know, Vancouver is also located in what the developer calls the BC Pacific Northwest. We'd also note that the developer is requesting a new variance to the road setback allowance that we would expect to require a new shadow study for the extended building envelope. We would like to know when we can expect to see this new study and whether this study will cover more than half of the year.
Okay, so that's the second one about shadow study. About the time
thirdly, and this it's maybe this is the right venue for it, maybe not, but bear with me here. So the City of Richmond recently installed new traffic lights just down the road from this development on Cook Road at Cook Gate, across from William Cook Elementary School. These new lights seem to have done very little to address the rampant speeding and aggressive driving through this 2-block section that includes a school zone, 2 bus stops, and 2 crosswalks. We would anticipate the speeding and dangerous driving to be somewhat exacerbated by the increased density of this new development. I can personally attest to my 3-year-old daughter and I being nearly run down by residents of the current building at 8880 Cook Road when using the crosswalk in front of our home as their vehicles aggressively turn from westbound Cook Road onto Pimlico Way and into their parking lot. I've also witnessed vehicles driving double the posted speed limit through the school zone during school hours. For comparison, other similar locations only a few blocks away, such as on Alberta Road in front of Henry Anderson Elementary School, have speed bumps installed to slow traffic and improve pedestrian safety. So we would encourage the panel to consider recommending the installation of speed bumps on Cook Road before some kind of serious pedestrian accident occurs.
Okay. So I'll answer number 3 first. We'll definitely forward that to our transportation department. Those types of requests aren't uncommon throughout the city. So number 3 will refer to transportation, and that will be dealt with separately from the other 2 questions. For 1 and 2, I would ask Mr. Craig to chime in on those.
Thank you. Through the chair, in terms of the question about digital information, that is part of the city's long-term digital strategy to have that information readily available on the city's website. That is a work in progress. In terms of the rezoning information, that is all available through the city's website and the public hearing minutes. With respect to shadow analysis, there were shadow analysis provided as part of this development. That information is on file, and it is consistent with the city's standard practice of requiring the diagram show the shadowing impacts at 4 times during the year: March, June, September, and December.
So we'll take note of your comments on the completeness of shadow studies, and staff will take a look at that for future consideration. But from my understanding right now, this application covers off all of the requirements of the city at this time as far as shadow studies are concerned.
Could I just get a confirmation again from Mr. Craig on those 4 times for the shadow study?
Certainly.
The analysis on file reflects 4 times throughout the year. Those times are March, June, September, and December.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Quinn, for your expressing your questions and comments.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Is there any other members of the public, Mr. Clerk?
None, Mr. Chair.
Any correspondence?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we did receive 1 letter for this item. It's from Monire Daipur.
Through the chair, I'm happy to provide a summary of the information. So there was a letter provided from Mr. Dapur at 908-9180 Hemlock Drive. The correspondence identifies 4 concerns with respect to the development. The first relates to ongoing development in the city and opposing high-density development. As indicated in this meeting, the terms of use density are established through the rezoning process and outside the purview of the panel. The second issue is in relationship to market rental versus below market rental. That information was provided in response to a previous delegation. The third item listed in the correspondence is with respect to traffic and potential implications of additional traffic. The application was reviewed by the city's transportation department. There was also an independent traffic analysis provided as part of the application review. We will forward the concerns from Mr. Gwynn to our transportation department, as you have noted, to look at whether additional traffic calming measures are warranted on Cook Road. There is also a question with respect to school capacity noted in the letter. The application is consistent with the city's official community plan. There was a OCP amendment associated with the rezoning. That OCP amendment did not generate additional school children that warranted review by the school board. However, saying that, the city staff and the school board staff are in constant dialogue with respect to school capacity, and will continue to work with the school to ensure that that is dealt with. And then the last comment is that they believe a much smaller development of 4 stories would be appropriate. And again, the terms of use and density are established through the rezoning process.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Craig. Panel deliberation. Any comments from the panel? Once again, I'd just like to note that it was a very comprehensive presentation. I do appreciate the effort that was taken into the visual interest, stepping in the first couple floors and variation on the balconies, and definitely supportive of providing rental housing in this market. So do we have a mover for the recommendation?
Move.
And second?
Seconded.
Excuse me. All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. This item will go to council at a future date, and looking forward to a good development.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to staff and thank you to panel.
Thank you. Next item, is there any new business?
No new business, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So the date of the next meeting is March 27th, 2024. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.